Hi, everybody, and welcome back. So, Megan has a new video out, still trying to promote her fire starter, The Stench. When will she realize that this book is a flop? And the more she tries to promote it, the bigger idiot she's making of herself. The point is that the book is not a children's book. It does not have a classic children's book storyline, namely an introduction, a problem, a solution to the problem, and an end. It is also not a book for teenagers or adults, and neither teenagers nor adults will enjoy the stench, and thus the stench does not have a niche market. And any publisher will tell you that successful books will need a niche market, or at least a group of targeted readers. And as a matter of fact, when one submits a manuscript, that will be one of the first questions they ask you. Who is your target audience or your target readers? What age group? Blah, blah, blah. Megan's musings is like a rather immature teenage musing written for the latest crush, and would or should be kept as a keepsake between the pages of a diary and not be published and distributed to the public. To make matters even worse, she introduces herself in the clip as Megan, the Duchess of Sussex. Oh my word, that is even more embarrassing because clearly she knows the book is not good enough to sell on merit. So she's hoping to sell it on her fame or infamy or celebrity. The short video was followed by an article in which it states that a Los Angeles preschool for vulnerable children thanks Megan for sending overjoyed students personal copies of her book, The Stench. Excuse me, I meant to say The Bench. The Los Angeles organization Aid League shared this news on their Instagram. In a statement on the Archwell website, it is said that the Duke and Duchess are committed to distributing the book across America, and says that 2,000 copies were sent to schools and libraries at no cost. Okay, maybe at no cost to certain parties, but I recently saw a post by someone calling herself Sophie Luna, who is a parent of a child attending the school in Harlem where Meghan and Harry visited during their New York tour. Well, not only is this Sophie Luna not happy about her child being photographed without permission, but according to another parent who calls herself Natasha Jackson, her child came home with a note from school requesting a $5 donation the day before the visit. So, seeing that Harry and Meghan donated a few books and 2 boxes of veggies, it is safe to say that Meghan forcefully sold her books to these poor children. Now, how did I come to this conclusion? Well, it is easy. The bench sells for $14 on Amazon. An author pays between 35 and 40% of the sales price for their own book. If you buy, for instance, 50 or 100 copies or more. Obviously, the more copies you order to sell out of hand or distribute for marketing purposes, the bigger the discount you as an author get, which means that Meghan Markle paid approximately $4.90 per copy for her book, which she then, in inverted commas, donated to that Harlem school at $5 per copy. Ouch, my belly. This woman is really funny and really good at fooling people. Anyway, I really wonder whether she truly donated those books to the school in Los Angeles, or whether the kids were also asked to donate $5 to Archwell, like the kids in Harlem. Well, let's stop laughing and move on. And this time, I'm puzzled by a related matter, but coming from a different angle. Okay, we have Harry and Meghan basically selling books to the school in Harlem and donating 2 boxes of veggies. However, they go on from there and pledge $25,000 to Melba's Kitchen, a privately owned restaurant, a full-fledged business with a website. It's a sit-down restaurant which also caters for events and from which one can order food online, and whose owner, Melba Wilson, has a cookbook one can buy on the premises, order off the website, etc., etc. So it sounds like a pretty healthy and diverse business to me, in my humble opinion. Yes, I guess, like with every other restaurant and hospitality business around the world, Melba Wilson's business took a bit of a hit, and lockdown must have been pretty devastating for her hourly paid staff, like waiters and waitresses, as it were, for others around the world. So, yes, Melba Wilson started a COVID-19 employee relief fund to help those workers. But here's the thing. According to Melba's website, the employees of Melba's partnered with Team Unity Incorporated to launch the Melba's COVID-19 Employee Relief Fund with a goal of raising a minimum of $250,000. And I quote, to provide financial relief to the dozens of hourly workers impacted at Melba's. Now, here's a photograph of Melba's. Can anyone please inform me exactly how many dozens of employees can Miss Wilson fit into Melba's? Okay. Then it goes on to state that 90% of your donation will directly aid the hourly and salaried employees. Excuse me, but didn't I just quote from the same page which stated the fund will aid hourly workers? Isn't it true that salaried workers in the United States can claim either workers' compensation, or didn't the United States government's rescue plan provide approximately $350 billion in emergency funding for salaried workers who were temporarily or permanently laid off due to COVID and the lockdown? I'm not 100% sure how the United States COVID relief worked, but in South Africa, my daughter applied online through a government website and collected her money at the post office. It was not a heck of a lot, but it certainly helped her to catch up on the odds and ends she fell behind on during the months she was not working. So surely Melba's salaried workers should be covered by something similar in the United States. You guys can explain to me in the comment section how the United States relief funds work or worked and what it took for an employee to qualify. Please do. But nevertheless, I can understand donations for hourly workers, but not permanent salaried workers. And nor do I actually really understand Melba setting up a fund and asking for donations for her hourly workers either, as I'm sure there were hundreds of thousands of people in similar circumstances across the world, and surely it's not possible to expect donations and start funds for each and every one, is it? But anyway, let's move on. Then it states that the remaining 10% will go to Team Unity Incorporated. And I looked into Team Unity Incorporated. Now, the website looks rather impressive, but as one goes from one page to the other, you will find that there isn't much happening on there. I even looked at their tax filings. Now, I'm not going to post all of them here, but just one cover to show and prove that I did actually look. And even from its tax filings, it looks a little odd, to say the least. In 2019, for instance, it shows a deficit of just over $5,000, but declared expenses, things like $343 for office expenses, 1,714 for insurance, $250 for marketing, and then $39,302 for event expenses. But then when you go to the rest of the website, you will see that the few events they were involved in were spread over a couple of years since 2016. So how they spend $39,000 in 1 year on an undisclosed event is rather dodgy. But anyway, this is all included in $47,000 listed under other. Okay, there are, like I said, a few events they are involved with, but somehow it is far less than I would imagine from the description of themselves and their motto. I could find quite a bit on Rufus Barkley and Raven Donnell Barkley, who Rufus is the board member and Raven Donnell Barkley is the vice chair of Team Unity. Now, like I said, I could find quite a bit on them. Rufus being a well-known fashion photographer and Raven Donnell Barkley a well-known dancer. But I truly battled to get information on Richard Claudel Cox, the chairperson, and Sharon Ann Cox, the other board member. But eventually I did. Sharon A. Cox is also owner and co-founder of the Cox Duncan Network. And Richard Cox's experience seemed to be in education, although his work history is rather nondescript. But eventually I did find a photograph of him on the Lot Carey Foreign Mission webpage. But never mind who they are. I had someone look at it for me, and what appears to be hidden here and what appears to be happening is that Team Unity allows other entities or businesses to set up a fundraising campaign using their non-profit tax-exempt registration number. And in turn, they, the other entities or businesses, donate 10%, and I'm saying donate in inverted commas, 10% of the money they raise back to Team Unity. Now, I'm not familiar with United States tax laws, but I'm fairly sure that this is illegal in my country. You cannot just give your not for profit or non-profit organization's registration number to someone else to raise funds for their own goals. It just doesn't make sense, and it does sound very dodgy to me. But maybe there's a loophole in the United States that I'm not aware of. Perhaps the clever subscribers who'd helped me out in the past and who worked in the United States financial industry could look into this for us, and I could come back with a more educated narrative. However, the fact remains that I would love to know why Harry and Meghan pledged $25,000 to Melbuzz, a privately owned business, while selling the Stench to poor school children in Harlem and only donating 2 boxes of veggies, which most likely they also did not pay for, but which was likely given to them by some business or organization. Okay, my friends, as always, I have so much to talk to you about today, but I hate long videos. Not only does the editing take hours, but I am also afraid that I may bore you. But today, before I run off, I want to quickly chat to you about this whole issue surrounding Bot Sentinel, a data analysis agency who, again in inverted commas, identified 83 Twitter accounts whom the company said were part of a coordinated hate campaign against Meghan Markle. Well, all of this nonsense is out there for all of you to read, but it also now appears as if they are now also gunning for Murky Meg and HG Tudor on YouTube. But we'll also talk about that in another video. It is obvious that they are gunning for the larger channels. Murky, who has 85,400 subscribers, and HG Tudor, who has 79,600 subscribers. But then I would like to know, or would like to ask whoever runs Bot Sentinel, why are they not calling out Lady C, who has 132,000 subscribers, more than either Murky or Tudor? There are also ads running on Lady C's channel as well, and with over 100,000 subscribers, longer videos, she must be earning quite a bit on ad revenue every month. And I say, good for her. I have no issue with it. If our subscribers are prepared to pay between $9.99 and $18.99 for a Netflix subscription in Canada, then why begrudge anyone, be it Murky, Tudor, or Lady C, the portion of ad revenue they receive from YouTube and Google? We are working for it with hours of research, reading papers and magazines we would not otherwise have read, making notes, narrating, editing, and posting. But I digress. Why did Bot Sentinel and the Mail Online article not mention Lady C? Well, because of who she is. They know that Lady C does not take nonsense from little wannabes, and they know that Lady C is well connected, and they know Lady C could better afford to fight back than, say, Murky Meg, Taz, or any of us. So they pick their fights with those who they think cannot fight back, or who are less likely to fight back. And that, my dears, is bullying on a very grand scale. Anyway, dear oh dear, maybe Bot Sentinel should have picked their battles wiser or chosen their words more carefully. Maybe they should not have gone down the road of money, as look what is on the very front page of their website. Yes, folks, they are begging for donations. Now I'm asking you, what is better, to work for your money and getting paid by a company who earns their money from your work, or to run around and harass people, endanger our right to freedom of speech, and then beg for donations from the public? Now you guys decide. Oh, shame. And then, after Bot Sentinel alleged that 70% of these accounts who do not like Meghan are part of a coordinated effort to slander or harm her, in other words, who may be bot accounts, Twitter themselves proved this to be wrong by stating that most of the accounts listed by Bot Sentinel were actually held by real people. The other thing Bot Sentinel did not do was to do a proper and balanced analysis. Now, here is a very good example of the other side of the coin. So they, the Sussex Squad and Sugars, can or may post positively about Meghan and Harry, but the fans of William and Catherine may not. The Sussex Squad and Sugars can post horrible things about William, Catherine, and the Queen, and that's perfectly acceptable. But criticism of Harry and Meghan is considered bullying, hateful, racism, and should be blocked. That sounds pretty one sided to me. So, here are just a few samples of some of these hateful accounts who regularly show disrespect to the Queen, who, regardless of the title, is still a 95-year-old grandmother, who regularly calls William and Kate names like calling Catherine Mumbelina. It's okay for members of the Sussex Squad to say things like F. Betty, referring to the Queen, to call William racist, Andrew a rapist, which he is not, but dare to call Meghan out on proven lies, and they will call you a hater, a racist, and assume you are middle aged and white. And if you are not middle aged and white, they come up with the vilest of terms for people who are not middle aged and white, but who may be mixed race or black. But I guess that is of absolutely no consequence to Bod Sentinel, Christopher Boozy, or Twitter. Folks, I personally think the writing is on the wall, the games and talking is over, and it is now time for action. So, as you know me, I believe in fairness and my work will continue. And I will continue to call out dubious actions, whether it was committed by Susie or Jack, Megan, Charles, or Joe Soap. But we need to also start to educate ourselves and recognize the good so we can better compare and recognize the bad. And maybe that way we can help and educate the Sussex Squad and Sugars who are lurking in our midst by proving a few valid points. So, my friends, there is a lot of work ahead of us if we wish to create a peaceful, balanced world for our children. And now, this video is long enough, actually, maybe a little too long for my taste. And I'll see you on the next one. Until then, take good care of yourselves and bye.